Welcome, everyone, to Vpod.ai. I'm your host, Mike, and I'm joined by our guest expert, Susan. You can sponsor this podcast for just $25. Your message will be featured across major platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and more. If you're interested, visit Vpod.ai to get started today.
So let's just get right into it. Most of you probably have a pretty sacred morning ritual.
Oh, absolutely. The morning coffee.
Right, exactly. You wake up, you pour that hot cup of coffee to get the brain online, and maybe you take your daily medications or, your vitamins. It feels like a completely innocent, healthy routine.
It does feel innocent, yeah. But from a biological standpoint, coffee isn't just this comforting inert beverage.
Right.
It actually contains caffeine, which is a highly potent compound. And what we're going to explore today is how that single compound can fundamentally alter how your body absorbs, processes, and reacts to some really crucial medications.
Because what if that innocent cup of coffee is secretly sabotaging the exact medications you're relying on? Exactly. And today, we're going to walk you through 12 common medications that clash dangerously with coffee.
Yeah, and we're not just going to read you a dry list.
No. We are going to group these interactions by how the coffee actually attacks the medication, because it's not always the same mechanism. Sometimes it dangerously amplifies the drug, sometimes it completely blocks it, and other times it creates this chaotic stimulant battle right in your nervous system.
Which is wild to think about. I mean, usually when you take a prescription, you worry about the drug failing to work, right? Like, you worry the dose isn't high enough.
Right, you want it to be effective.
So let's start with that first group you mentioned, the amplifiers. Yeah. Because what happens when coffee makes a drug, like, radically too strong?
This is where it gets genuinely dangerous. Let's look at anticoagulants first, so blood thinners.
Like warfarin?
Yes, exactly. Warfarin, which you might know as Jantoven or heparin. If you are taking an anticoagulant, you are already trying to manage a severe risk of life-threatening blood clots. The stakes are very high.
Right, it's a tightrope walk.
It is, and caffeine actually increases the concentration of these drugs in your bloodstream.
Wait, really? It makes them stronger?
It does. It puts you at a severe risk for excessive bleeding. Because the drug concentration gets pushed way up, and suddenly a minor bump is a massive internal bruise or a small cut becomes a real emergency.
Oh, wow. And it does this with chemotherapy drugs too, right?
Yes, unfortunately. Methotrexate is a powerful immunosuppressant used in chemotherapy and for severe rheumatoid arthritis. And when you mix it with coffee, higher, potentially dangerous levels of the drug just sort of pool in the blood.
Okay, but let me just push back on that for a second. With something like warfarin, why wouldn't the body just, filter out the excess? Like, why does coffee specifically cause this traffic jam in the blood?
It's a great question. So both the caffeine and these medications are fighting to use the exact same metabolic pathways in your liver.
Oh,
Think of it like a bottleneck. When they hit that pathway together, the liver gets overwhelmed. The medication just builds up in the blood rather than being processed safely.
like a literal traffic jam.
Exactly like that.
But there's also a weird twist with this, right? Like a reverse amplifier effect.
Yes, the reverse amplifier. This happens with quinolone antibiotics.
Things like Cipro.
Right, Cipro. So you might take Cipro for a severe bacterial infection, but in this case, the antibiotic actually enhances the effects of the caffeine.
Wait, so the drug isn't building up, the coffee is?
Exactly. The antibiotic stops your body from breaking down the caffeine. So you end up experiencing intense restlessness, severe anxiety, and these crazy heart palpitations.
It's just, it's like turning up the volume on a stereo that's already maxed out.
That is a perfect way to describe it.
Like eventually you're just going to blow out the speakers.
Yes, your system just can't handle the load.
Okay, so that's the traffic jam. That's when things get amplified. But let's transition to the next group, the blockers.
Right.
Because if the first group was a traffic jam, this group is basically a brick wall. Like the drug just gets completely neutralized.
And this affects so many people. Let's talk about thyroid medications.
Like Synthroid. Millions of people take that.
Millions. And if you wash down your Synthroid with your morning coffee, the caffeine drastically lowers your body's ability to absorb it by a staggering 50%.
50%.
Yeah.
That is, it's like paying for a full month's prescription, opening the bottle, and just throwing half the pill straight into the trash.
It really is.
You're doing everything right. You're setting your alarm, taking the pill, but you're only getting half the benefit.
And it gets worse when we look at brain and bone medications.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Take Alzheimer's medications, for example. Cholinesterase inhibitors like Aricept.
Okay, what happens there?
The coffee physically blocks the medication from reaching the brain, so it totally fails to protect acetylcholine, which is a crucial neurotransmitter for memory.
That is genuinely tragic. Families are relying on that to get more time with their loved ones.
It's heartbreaking, and we see a similar blocking effect with osteoporosis meds.
Like Beniva or Actonel.
Yes, they completely lose their bone strengthening effectiveness. If you take them with coffee, they just don't work. This is why you must take them with water only.
Just water. Wow. And I'm guessing this physical barrier effect applies to some of the really common daily pills too.
Absolutely. Blood pressure medications, like Indrol or Lopressor.
Oh man, so many people are on those.
So many. And antipsychotics as well, like Abilify or Haldol. If you take them with a morning brew, they suffer from significantly reduced absorption.
But the real danger here, and this is what really gets me, is the ripple effect.
The misdiagnosis.
Yes, because think about it. You're taking your blood pressure pill with coffee, it's not working, so your pressure stays high.
Right.
You go to your doctor, and they think your disease is getting worse.
Exactly. The doctor might needlessly increase your dosage.
Yeah, and expose you to heavier side effects.
All because they are completely unaware that your morning latte is the true culprit blocking the treatment.
It's crazy. You're chemically chasing your own tail.
You really are.
Okay, so we've talked about drugs getting amplified and drugs getting blocked. Let's guide this toward the nervous system.
The stimulant clash.
Right, because coffee is famous for waking us up. That's why we drink it. But what happens when it goes head-to-head with medications that act as their own stimulants?
It creates a massive battle in your nervous system. Let's look at cold and allergy meds first.
Like Sudafed or Allegra?
Yes. Medications containing pseudoephedrine or fexofenadine, because pseudoephedrine is already a nervous system stimulant.
Right, it dries out your sinuses, but it winds you up.
Exactly. So combining it with coffee acts as a double dose of stimulants. You are skyrocketing your risk of heart palpitations, severe restlessness, and just terrible insomnia.
An aggressive double upper.
It really is, and it's even more complicated with asthma medications.
Asthma inhalers. Really?
Yeah, asthma bronchodilators.
Right.
They already carry side effects like a racing heart and irritability.
Right. People always say their inhaler makes them feel a little shaky.
Exactly. And caffeine not only worsens those jittery side effects, but it actually reduces the amount of medication your airways can absorb to help you breathe.
Wait, really? So it makes the side effects worse, but cruelly stops the drug from actually helping your lungs.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is a terrible combination.
Man. And what about mental health medications? I see here that SSRIs are affected too.
They are. Antidepressants like Prozac, Lexapro, and specifically Luvox.
What happens with Luvox?
Well, coffee lowers the overall absorption of most of those, but with Luvox, taking it with coffee drastically spikes your risk of experiencing intense caffeine-induced heart palpitations.
Because of that same liver bottleneck we talked about earlier.
Exactly. The Luvox essentially shuts down the pathway that clears the caffeine.
Okay, so let me ask a practical question for everyone listening. Is this just about feeling a little, quote unquote, jittery? Or is this a genuine assault on the nervous system that could lead to broader burnout?
I'm so glad you asked that because people dismiss the word jittery all the time.
Right, like it's just a minor annoyance.
But it's not. Overwhelming your nervous system with conflicting stimulants doesn't just make you jittery. It creates immense physiological stress.
Like a prolonged fight-or-flight state.
Yes. And that stress actively works against the healing process these drugs are actually meant to support. You can't heal a body that's constantly being chemically alarmed.
You can't heal a body that's constantly being chemically alarmed. That is a powerful way to put it.
It's the biological truth.
So we've talked a lot about how coffee interacts with specific pills, but let's take the pills out of it for a second. What about how coffee interacts with the disease itself, like as a metabolic disruptor?
This is a vital pivot because for some people, it's not about the pill regimen, it's about systemic health.
Like with diabetes.
Yes. For diabetics, caffeine actively worsens their symptoms.
How so? Because black coffee doesn't have sugar in it.
True, but high caffeine intake directly raises both blood sugar and insulin levels.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it throws a massive wrench into your glucose control, which just makes the condition much, much harder to manage.
That's fascinating. So who else should be avoiding coffee completely? What are the other high-risk demographics?
Well, kids and teens, definitely.
Oh, yeah, you see them with those massive energy drinks at iced coffees all the time now.
It's a huge problem. Their developing nervous systems just can't handle it. It causes severe anxiety, palpitations, and sleep disruption.
What about pregnant people? I know there's usually a limit there.
Yes. Healthcare providers strongly suggest keeping it under 200 milligrams a day, which is about one standard cup. High intake risks preterm birth and miscarriage because the body just can't process the caffeine fast enough.
That makes sense. Anyone else?
People suffering from anxiety.
Oh, right. Because it just pours gasoline on the fire.
It actively exacerbates the symptoms.
Hmm.
And finally, people with heart disease risks. If you're drinking more than 6 cups a day, you may significantly increase your risk of heart disease.
6 cups is a lot, but I definitely know people who hit that number by 2 p.m.
Oh, easily.
So we've covered incredible ground today. We've talked about the amplifiers, the blockers, the stimulant clashes, and systemic disruption. But let's break down the golden rule for you listening right now.
The actionable takeaway.
Exactly. Because we are not saying you have to give up your morning brew and live a joyless life.
No, please don't do that.
The golden rule is this. You must space out your coffee intake from your medication schedule.
Yes. You have to give your body the time it needs to absorb your prescription before you introduce the caffeine.
And beyond just spacing it out, what should people be doing?
You need to utilize your pharmacist. They are such an incredible, underused resource. The next time you pick up your meds, ask them specifically.
Right, don't just sign the pad and walk away.
Exactly. Ask them, how does my unique cocktail of medications interact with caffeine? They will give you the exact facts for your body.
It's such a simple step, but it could literally save your life.
It really could.
It's just wild to think about. We view medicine as these powerful, untouchable sciences. Flawless cures in pristine labs.
We do.
Yet a simple roasted bean, steeped in hot water, can completely rewrite how they work in our bodies.
It is incredibly humbling.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it leaves you with one last thing to ponder today. If a daily cup of coffee can alter our brain chemistry and block powerful modern medicines, what other everyday foods or harmless habits are silently changing the way your body functions right now?